In this video, I'm going to show you how to add or remove students in an intervention throughout the school year without completing the intervention as a whole. This video is being filmed in a testing server where there are fake students and fake data. Any likeness to any real student is purely coincidental. You'll notice I'm already in my intervention here and I have some enrolled students, and I'm going to show you how you can add or remove students throughout the year. So the first thing I could do is this is now a hyperlink to the enrolled students list. I could click on that and it will bring up my Manage Intervention page and my list of students here. I'm going to go back and show you the other place you can go. I could also just come up here to Manage Intervention in the top right hand corner. It will bring me to the same page where I'm looking at students. Notice that my student status is Enroll. All of your students that are in the intervention and receiving support, they will have an Enroll status. However, you can change that status to either a Complete, or we have in our Alabama site 3 withdrawn status options that you can choose from as well, including withdrawn out of district, withdrawn refusing service, and withdrawn intervention adjustment. So you can choose one of those 4 additional options. Again, you can mark the student as complete, or you can choose one of the 3 withdrawn statuses. If you update that student status, then they will still be listed in the intervention for you to go back to, but they will no longer be considered active. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to complete Kyla, and then I'm going to add an additional student or 2 to my intervention. So again, these are fake students here that I'm searching for. So I'm just going to search for a student here, and I'm going to add Andrew. And I'm going to add Candace. Kyla is finished. I'm going to mark her as complete, and notice now her status looks different here, and I need to save and close this screen. What that is going to do is that is going to complete Kyla. I've successfully updated my intervention here. That completes Kyla, and it also adds those 2 additional students. So I'm going to scroll down, and now I'm going to see I have 3 students here. Notice that Kyla is now at the bottom of my list, or at the end of my list. That is because I have my sorting set to status here, which means it's going to sort the students who are completed or withdrawn and stick them at the bottom of your list. And you may be wondering, why is that important? Well, when you have a ton of students in an intervention, you probably want to see your active students first. And so if you imagine there are 25, 50, or 100 students in this, if I could put all of my students that are no longer having data entered in for them at the bottom, that just really helps your view. You also over here, as one of the new features, have a status filter. So you can filter out the students that are not active in the intervention if you are just looking at data for active students. So if I were to use that status, notice when I unchecked the completed option, it took Kyla away and just shows me my 2 students that are active. But Kyla is still there. I can bring her back, and I can still look at Kyla's data even though she is marked as complete. So that is helpful, but it becomes very helpful when you're trying to do the bulk options. So if I come over here to attendance to take attendance for this day for Candace and Andrew, if I try to do the bulk option here, notice Kyla is at the bottom, but she's grayed out. She's marked as complete. So while she's still there, I can look at her data. I can't update data for her anymore. So if I wanted to use the bulk options, notice they go away. I'm unable to add data to students who completed or withdrew from the intervention. So prior to this status filter being over here, what you would have to do is you'd have to go manually uncheck your students that were completed or withdrawn. Now all you have to do is remove them from your filter here. And now that Kyla is not in my listing anymore, I can now do those bulk options and mark those students for attendance. If I'm using observations, I can do the same thing. And then when I come over here to goals, the students that I can't enter data for are filtered out. So this filter status here, as you're adding and removing students, becomes a very big help.